Hey everyone, welcome to week 3 of Code Sprint. So we are heading towards and passing the midpoint of this first Code Sprint, which feels a little crazy already, but these are short classes, so they're compressed timelines. So I want to walk you through a little bit of what we're going to be doing this week. So I'm going to flip over to the canvas and show you the week 3 module. So same structure, we've got a link to the optional class meeting on Friday. It's been great to meet those of you who've been able to make it to those class meetings. Let's close tabs. So the week overview should be your sort of landing spot for the page. This video is here, and then there are a series of assignments listed. So we have an assignment that is the quiz game, continuing to build that inside of React. So go through this and submit to me a screenshot of the app running in your browser and a zip of the project files. For the next thing, there is a page on version control and using Git and GitHub, where I walk you through the concept of what version control is and how to set up a Create React app for version control. You don't have to submit anything to me for this particular page, but you're going to have to apply this knowledge in one of the other assignments for this week. Then there is a participation assignment for going into the project progress channel in Teams, finding posts from last week where everyone was posting their project brainstorm HTML pages. So find posts from 2 of your peers and leave them a reply with 2 to 3 sentences of feedback. I have a link here to show you how to leave a reply if you're not sure how to do that. And when you're looking for people to give a reply to, make sure that you are looking for folks that haven't already gotten a lot of feedback already. That way we'll kind of evenly distribute who gets feedback in this class. And just one note, we're all learning, so be kind and be encouraging with the feedback that you're giving. That is the feedback. And then the last thing, which I want to talk about for a minute, is the final project planning milestone. So you've completed the first milestone for the final project, which was the brainstorming. And in this milestone, you're taking that idea that you brainstormed and doing 3 things. You're wireframing, you're building a Kanban style board to track your tasks for the project, and you're building a skeleton of your React application. So this is all you have to do for this week's milestone. Next week, we are going to build an alpha of the application, so kind of a minimally viable version of the project. And then the 5th week, the last week of class, will be the final version of your code that is due. So if you're working on this and you're like, wow, there's a lot to do, I'm going to just keep going and keep building things, go right ahead. The more work you do earlier on the project, the better off you'll be, especially because the more work you do earlier, the more help you can get from me and from your peers as you're building the project. But as for the minimum requirements for this week for the planning, there's wireframing, the board, and the skeleton. And I have a video here that goes through me doing those 3 things for my to-do example app from the my project brainstorm that I had. So here, it's I go through the process of wireframing in real time. So you can watch this at 2x speed and sort of cut through some of watching me just sitting there drawing. But this will walk you through what to do for each of these steps. And one thing I'll highlight, which is also mentioned in here, is that there's an additional requirement if you're in programming 550 for the Kanban board, and there's an additional requirement for programming 450 for the React skeleton. So as I note down at the bottom here, you can get 0.5 points of extra credit if you do the requirement that is not for your class. So if you're in programming 450, you go ahead and you do the requirement down here that you have to do, and then you also do the 550, you end up with 0.5 points of extra credit. So we're getting to the point where some of the requirements are going to be differentiated for grad students versus undergrad students based on whether you're in programming 550 or 450. But because I want you all to learn everything, I still will have this reward extra credit structure, where if you go ahead and tackle the challenge that's specifically for the other class, you'll get extra credit for it. Okay, so there's a fair bit for this week. We're getting into the point of starting to slow down the new material for React so that you can focus on applying what you've learned to your final project. So this week we are covering props state routing, which will show you how to track some data inside of your application and set up multiple pages inside of a React application. Next week we will finish up the quiz game in React and show you how to save some data into local storage. And that's pretty much the plan for ending the material from me for the showing you how to use React. And then we transition into having more time for lab, where you are spending your class time for the week, not following step-by-step tutorials from me, but actually building your final project. Okay, so that's it for this overview. Ping me if you have questions. You can reach me in Teams. You can reach me via Canvas messages or via email. But good luck, and I look forward to seeing what you've got for your project.